Let's talk about nutrition in perimenopause. Welcome to my YouTube channel where I, Dr. Malia Swanson, a menopause certified practitioner, family medicine board certified physician, provide free menopause education. So today we're going to be talking about what type of nutrition supports perimenopause. I am not a person of extremes. I really like to think about the long game. I don't really have a desire for you to be eating 120 grams of protein a day because I just don't see this as sustainable, and there can be downsides to this. So we're going to go over certain topics that you are welcome to add into your perimenopause journey or welcome to throw out the window, but some concepts that may be beneficial to preparing for menopause and setting yourself up for the best health you can be in. So let's start with some of the obvious things. If you vape or you smoke, taking those out can be really important. Alcohol, decreasing alcohol. More than 3 to 4 drinks a week can increase your risk of breast cancer, increase your risk of heart attack and stroke, and raise your blood pressure. So definitely consider decreasing alcohol in your diet. Okay, also, let's talk about protein. There's been a huge movement towards get your protein in, half your ideal body weight, different numbers based on who you are. Yes, protein can trigger muscle building, but oftentimes women are increasing their protein through animal-based products and meats, chickens, whey protein powder, and animal-based products are inflammatory. Processed meat, like hot dogs, salami, processed meats are a type 1 carcinogen. They definitely cause cancer. Also, red meat is a type 2A carcinogen, meaning it probably causes cancer. Definitely, we see higher rates of colon cancer with meat eaters. We see more inflammation as a whole in the body when people are eating meat. When my patient's cholesterol comes back high, I say, you can work on it by increasing fish oil, fish consumption, fiber, more vegetables, and you may want to consider a plant-based diet to really bring down inflammation and cholesterol in a meaningful way. But if that's not sustainable, a vegan diet's not sustainable for you, then that's fine. You don't have to do that. Just a thought on how to move the needle and decrease inflammation, not only for cardiovascular disease, but also for cancer prevention. All right, so we've talked about alcohol, we've talked about decreasing meat products. I definitely think protein is important. It can be very filling. It can produce more muscle mass if you're doing weightlifting in addition to it. It's a very important piece of your diet for sure, but don't overdo it with animal products. Try to get that protein in plant-based ways. All right, let's talk about refined sugar, processed sugar, corn syrup. If you can avoid refined sugar, you will be avoiding a major inflammatory source in your diet. Increased processed sugars are just so detrimental to your experience in perimenopause. Not only is there this addictive piece, but it's not good for the body. It causes insulin resistance and is inflammatory to your blood vessels, leads increased refined sugars, increased blood sugar in general, decreases the health of the lining of the blood vessels and leads to heart attack, stroke, different issues. So definitely taking out processed foods in general, especially refined sugar. Let's talk about increasing omega-3s. I would say try to get this through your diet, and if you can't, definitely consider supplementing for cardiovascular health, mood health. There are so many benefits to omega-3s. So definitely think about nuts, fish, changing your diet so you're getting the omega-3s in. All right, let's talk about vitamin D and calcium. If you can get calcium through your food, that is wonderful. We like to increase the calcium intake through food. I don't love the idea of increasing the dairy content in food because oftentimes dairy causes inflammation in the body from the saturated fat, or as we age, we don't have as much of the lactase enzyme to digest lactose, so it can cause bloating, diarrhea, and other issues. But increasing calcium in the diet is key. If you have osteopenia or osteoporosis, then you may need to supplement calcium. Most people need to be on a vitamin D supplement. There are some people that get enough sunlight that they don't need vitamin D supplementation, you can quickly and easily get a vitamin D level checked. And I would definitely say if you're less than 30, 35, you're going to want to supplement. We don't see much increased benefit when your vitamin D levels are above 50 or 60. So being in that sweet spot between 30 and 50 on a vitamin D lab test is great. Usually this may take 1,000 to 3,000 units a day of vitamin D supplementation to get to that sweet spot. Helps with the immune system, mood, bone density. Very important as a supplement. For women that are not sleeping, have high anxiety, muscle tension, I like magnesium. Definitely take it at night. Can be really helpful. I think there's more and more evidence for creatine, especially for performance and muscle building. There's a little bit less evidence in women. I hope there's more evidence with perimenopause and creatine, but that's a consideration for a supplement. Let's talk about B12. B12, so important for the nervous system, for rebuilding red blood cells. Definitely often think that B12 is a necessary supplement. Because of the quality of our soil and what we're getting in our diet, we're just not getting the right amount of B12. And so I often supplement B12 for my patients. Vitamin C and E can be beneficial antioxidants, so you may want to consider supplementing these. Supplements I like for anxiety that are still being researched and haven't shown a ton of evidence, but definitely I often find benefit with my patients are ashwagandha and L-theanine for anxiety or sleep issues. So things to avoid also are going to be forever chemicals in your diet. So you want to get your water evaluated, consider filtering your water, make sure you're not storing your food in plastic products, make sure you have glass Tupperware, glass water bottle, or metal water bottle. You don't want to be using plastic. You don't want to be using synthetic scents or soaps because those are going to have higher levels of forever chemicals, which are carcinogens and disrupt the endocrine system and hormones. Things to pay attention to. We could talk about nutrition supplements more, but key takeaways: decrease saturated fat, decrease refined sugars, increase protein in a plant-based way. Consider cutting out red meat, processed meats, pork, these sources of saturated fat. Eat more fish. Overdo it on vegetables. Fill up that plate with just a plethora of vegetables and overdo it. Please do not restrict what you eat. So yes, there's often weight gain with perimenopause and menopause. Yes, there is a reorganization of fat with perimenopause and menopause. It is not a time to restrict what you eat. It is a time to focus in on eating good, nourishing food for your body so that you can perform and be at your best. That is what is important in this season. Further nutrition questions, please let me know. Happy to talk about intermittent fasting, different diets, but the thing I find with specific diets is they're often really beneficial, then you plateau and they're not sustainable. So I really like long-term goals that are going to make a difference in your whole life, not just the next year.